Okay, so today's story is going to be Joseph's dreams. Now, Jacob dwelt in the land where his father was a stranger in the land of Canaan. This is the history of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought a bad report of them to his father. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age. He also made him a tunic of many colors. Now, to go up one line where he loves his son more than the other ones because, he's born in his old age. You shouldn't really play favorites with your kids. Your kids are miracles. Now, the tunic of many colors reminds me of Dolly Parton's song, Coat of Many Colors. Look it up. It's a good song. But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him. Now, Joseph had a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. So he said to them, "Please hear this dream which I have dreamed. There we were, binding sheaves in the field. Then behold, my sheaf arose and also stood upright, and indeed your sheaves stood all around and bowed down to my sheaf." And his brothers said to him, "Shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us?" So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. Then he dreamed still another dream, and told it to his brothers, and said, "Look, I have dreamed another dream, and this time the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bow down to me." So he told it to his father and his brothers, and his father rebuked him and said to him, "What is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I and your brothers indeed come bow down to the earth before you?" And his brothers envied him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Then his brothers went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, "Are not your brothers feeding the flock in Shechem? Come, I will send you to them." So he said to him, "Here I am." Then he said to him, "Please go and see if it is well with your brothers and well with the flocks, and bring back word to me." So he sent him out of the valley of Hebron, and he went to Shechem. Now a certain man found him, and there he was wandering in that field. And the man asked him, saying, "What are you seeking?" So he said, "I am seeking my brothers. Please tell me where they are feeding their flocks." And the man said, "They have departed from here, for I heard them say, 'Let's go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. When they saw him afar off, even before he came near them, they conspired against him to kill him. Then they said to one another, "Look, this dreamer is coming. Come, therefore, let us kill him and cast him into some pit, and we shall say, 'Wild beast has devoured him.' We shall see what will become of his dreams." But Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, "Let us not kill him." And Reuben said to them, "Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, that he might deliver him out of their hands, and bring him back to his father." So Reuben was kind of the nicer brother. So it came to pass, when Joseph had come to his brothers, that they stripped Joseph of his tunic, the tunic of many colors that was on him. Then they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it, and they sat down to eat a meal. So they just throw him in there and like, "Well, time to eat food now." Then they lifted their eyes and looked, and there was a company of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead with their camels, bearing spices, balm, and myrrh, on their way to carry them down to Egypt. So Judah said to his brothers, "What profit is there if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh." And his brothers listened. Then Midianite traders passed by. So the brothers pulled Joseph up and lifted him out of the pit and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels of silver. Now, I don't know how much they'd be in American money, but, 20 shekels of silver sound like a lot of money. And they took Joseph to Egypt. Joseph was not in the pit, and he tore his clothes. He returned to his brothers and said, "The lad is no more. And I, where shall I go?" So they took Joseph's tunic, killed a kid of goats, and dipped the tunic in the blood. And they sent the tunic of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, "We have found this. Do you know whether it is your son's or not?" And he recognized it and said, "It is my son's tunic. A wild beast has devoured him." Without doubt, Joseph is torn to pieces. Then Jacob tore his clothes and put sackcloth on his waist and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters arose to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, "For I shall go down into the grave to my son in mourning." Thus his father wept for him. Now the Midianites had sold him in Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and captain of the guard. So, a couple of things. I'm going to back up a little bit where it talks about the favoritism. I was my daddy's favorite growing up. My youngest sister was my mommy's favorite. The middle sister, I think she got a lot of issues because she was nobody's favorite. And so when you play favoritism, it's going to affect the kids. Now, naturally, you're probably, personality-wise, going to be closer to somebody that enjoys the same things as you do, that's sort of like you, possibly. Like me and my dad. We like rock and roll. We'd go to concerts together. The youngest sister, she was into horses. Our mom loved horses. The middle sister, I don't know what she likes, but, you know, that's just kind of how it is. You bond with people that have the same interests as you. But one thing that I read, it's a really good book. It's called, what is it called? The Love Dare for Parents. And it's so good because it talks about that, and it talks about finding what each of your kids like to do and spending that one-on-one time with each. And that's really important too, because I got a lot of one-on-one time with my dad, and the baby sister got a lot of one-on-one time with mom, and the middle sister, she got time with both, but you know, but it is what it is. So, you know, but fast forward to here where it says about Potiphar and how he was captain of the guard to Pharaoh. Okay? So, what's really cool about that is you're thinking, okay, so here's Joseph being a slave, being, you know, into forced labor, doing what other people want him to do, not getting to choose anything. But God placed him with the captain of the guard, one of the most important people he could place him with. Okay. And you'll see later on down the road Joseph's integrity. There's one thing that, you know, there's a saying, it goes, work with so much integrity, live with so much integrity, that even your enemies will be ashamed if they say anything bad about you, because they can't find anything wrong with what you do. I mean, because you have integrity. You're doing the right things all the time. What are they going to say? That person's too good. You know, I mean, really. So, but, yeah. Joseph is one of those people that is just one of my favorite Bible characters. And as we read more stories on him, you'll see why. But, really, really great. So, anyway. So, it doesn't matter what your situation is right now. because God is putting you in the perfect place. You might think, wow, I'm in the lowliest spot. You could think, I'm a janitor, or I'm a cashier, or I'm a whatever, a teacher, or I mow lawns, or clean up dog poop for a living, or whatever. There is no job that is beneath God. He can do anything with you in any job that you're at. You know, He can do such wonderful, wonderful things with you in any job that you're at. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're cleaning windows. It doesn't matter if you're pumping gas, flipping burgers. Other people might look down on you and be like, they work at McDonald's, they're just flipping burgers, they're not smart. But they don't know what God is doing through you in that situation. You could be the most kind-hearted person, and when somebody goes through your line at McDonald's or whatever, okay, you could just make them smile by being kind to them and really make their day. You never know what people are going through in life. And you could really, really brighten someone's day, you know. And that's worth something. Kindness is worth something. You know, it's worth more than $1 million. I mean, people think, oh, I could do so much with $1 million. And yeah, you could. You know, like my oldest, she asked me one time, she's like, what would you do if you won the lottery? I said, well, I would have retirement set up. I'd have their college set up, vacation, and a number one biggie, give a big chunk of money to my church. Because my church has really helped me out. Helped us out as family. You know, when we didn't have that much money for food before, they helped us out. It wasn't the government. It was my church. So, but, you know, that's why church is so important. Having that community and that family is so important. You know, a body of believers in Christ. Doesn't matter what church you go to, if you're Baptist or Pentecostal or whatever. You know, it's not really important. What's really important is being around a body of believers, getting the Bible, learn what God can do through you. I mean, you might think, man, I'm a nobody. Do you know how many nobodies God has turned into somebody? A lot. A lot. Look at Joseph. He was a nobody. He was a slave. But he got put with the captain of the guard. And you'll see as I read later, I'm not going to ruin it for you all who don't know the Bible. But you have to tune into next time. But it's good. It's a good, good story. And you're going to be going, wow. I see what God did in his life. If he can do it in his life, of course he can do it in my life. He sure can. You just got to trust him. You might think, how can I trust God? You know, I went through this, I went through that in my life. You know, I've been through things too in my life. I've had rough times in life. You know, yeah, I'm very blessed. I had a mom and dad that really loved me. But my mom, she passed away from cancer. That was rough. My husband's granddad passed away from emphysema from secondhand smoke. He didn't even smoke. And because people were around him that smoked, guess what? So, word from the wise, if you smoke, it'd be a good time to quit. If you think, oh, I don't know how to quit, God can help you do anything. Anything. So, people might think, well, God didn't heal your mom from cancer. He sure did. She's in heaven right now. That is a healing. People don't realize that's a healing. People might think, well, he didn't do any miracle on that. Yes, he did. My mom went from not wanting to know about Jesus to when she got cancer, she was like, can you read the Bible with me? Can we talk about it? She ended up coming to Christ. She's in heaven. God forgave her of all her sins. You might think, man, I done some terrible stuff. You know, I'm not going to get into anything that my mom did, but my mom did some stuff too. And God forgave her. She had some stuff that weighed on her heart at the end. And I said, Mom, God forgives you of all that. It's done. Jesus paid for that on the cross. It's done. So he said, it's finished. It's done. The only thing that keeps you separated from God is your sin. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm a sinner, so now I can never be with God. No. God made a bridge. He sent Jesus to die on the cross for your sins. Resurrected on the third day. Seen by 500 people after his death. A lot of people. Okay? His disciples that knew him died horrible deaths. Horrible. Because they said, no. I believe in him. I believe he rose from the dead. I know that he did because I saw him put my finger in his side. So, God can do anything through you. God can forgive you of anything. Doesn't matter what you did. People are the ones that have a hard time forgiving. We have a hard time forgiving. That's why Jesus even told his disciples, he's like, you have to forgive people. Or your Father can't forgive you. You have to forgive. Because our thoughts, our words, our deeds, terrible in God's sight. If you don't think so, if I had a machine that I could be like, let me just display for the world all your thoughts from baby on up, you'd be like, no, please, Jesus, no, don't show that. You know. I mean, even if Mother Teresa herself was here, okay, and I could be like, let me display all your thoughts, Mother Teresa, for the world to see, from baby on up, she'd be like, whoa, no, because we're not perfect. We get mad. We don't do the right thing all the time. We don't say the right thing all the time. That's why we need forgiveness. You know, that's why we need Jesus. You know? So, anyway. But, that's my rant. But, you know, I'm just really, really thankful that God, he did such a wonderful miracle in my mom. He brought her to him. She went from being like, nope, don't want to hear about Jesus, to, can you read the Bible to me? Can you explain things to me? Can we talk about it? That is a miracle. That is a change in her heart that came about. That's a miracle. When God gives you a new heart, the Bible says, I will give you a new heart of flesh. I will take out your heart of stone. Give you a new heart of flesh. That is a miracle. That's wonderful. My mom has a new heart, new spirit. She's in heaven. She gets to see the throne of God. She gets to see these beautiful, vibrant colors we don't even get to see here on earth. She ain't worried. She ain't suffering. She ain't laying in the bed suffering in pain. She's with Jesus, no pain. Jesus says, I will wipe every tear from your face. And I believe he's wiping some happy tears, because when we see him, when we die and we close our eyes, and we open our eyes, be in heaven, we see him, and he says, come on, my child, come on. And we're going to be so happy. We're going to be crying so happy. He's going to wipe that tear. He's going to be like, it's okay. You're in the kingdom. It's getting my eyes watering now, because it makes me so happy. Because my mom, she's in the kingdom of heaven. She's with Jesus. Just like he told the sinner on the cross next to him. He said, today you will be with me in paradise. He couldn't jump up off the cross and change his life around and be like, okay. He couldn't do that. All he did was say, please remember me when you enter your kingdom. Please remember me. He knew who he was. And Jesus said, today you will be with me. Not tomorrow, not next year, not 10 years from now. Today you will be with me in paradise. Oh, I think of Hawaii like paradise. Like, I was born there. I don't remember it because I was 2 when we moved from Hawaii to California. My parents were Navy, so we went where they said, hey, here you go. But I would love to go back one of these days, and God willing I will, and get a little glimpse, just a little tiny glimpse of what heaven's going to be like. Little tiny glimpse. You know, you could look at the sunset, the sunrise. The other day, we had our latchkey students do our little sunrise, drawings of sunrise or paintings, whatever. And it was so pretty. You know, we talked about the sunrise. How gorgeous it is when you're driving, you see the sun coming up, or even the sunset, the sun going down. All the colors. It's so beautiful. You know, God has really, really blessed all of us. Me, all you Facebookers, all you YouTubers. He's blessed you more than you even know. Even if you're going through something really hard right now. And I pray for you if you are. Because we all are going through something hard. We all are. Either one point in life or another. You know. Right now, things are pretty good for me. But that don't mean I'm never going to go through hard things. Look at COVID. That's a hard thing. I've had family that had COVID. It's alright. I had a customer that used to go through my line all the time, a very godly woman. She passed away from COVID. I mean, she had other health conditions, but, you know, COVID aggravated it. And so, you know, you never know when God's going to take you out of the world. You might think, I'm going to live to be 100. And I hope for your sake you do. All you Facebookers and YouTubers, I hope you do. But we're not guaranteed that. We're not guaranteed our next breath. God wrote down our days. He knows. He knows how long we have on this earth. But we don't know. That's why we got to enjoy every day. When we wake up, we got to enjoy it. Because it's the day that God made. And I will rejoice in it, and I pray you will rejoice in it. So anyway, I'm excited to read more about Joseph tomorrow, because it's such a good story. Y'all are going to love it. Totally love it. All y'all that maybe never read the Bible before, that's one of the better stories. There's some stories in there that's like, woo! And that's one of the really, really good ones. So anyway, the Bible don't hide anything. It doesn't hide anything. So, love all you YouTubers and Facebookers. God bless you. Bye-bye.